Okay, what's going on, boys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, we're going to go over the 3-5-2 counters. I know many of you guys are seeing and experiencing it, especially in Foot Champions. So we're going to go through a couple of counters and we're going to go through them. Now, one you may have seen already that works pretty well, and it's normally my normal regular tactic setup. It's a 4-4-2. Now, I've always said the 4-2-4 is always a more attacking version or variation of the 4-4-2. Now, what I would suggest is just go to, now this is more of a count. So let's say you're playing against a 3-5-2, and let's say you're versing a player that's, I would say, more of a below elite level, or probably just about elite level. You can have like an anti-counter attack tactic, and you can do it straight from kickoff. And what you do basically is you put all the strikers on stay forward, stay central. We're going to put these guys on getting behind. I'm going to keep these guys on stay forward. Now, this might be very attacking. So put this and get it behind, that one and get him behind. Instead of box for cross. And if you want to, you can put both of these guys on get forward, but I'll suggest one guy and get forward and one guy and stay back. So what's the reason behind this? Now, there's two ways you can do this. The idea is your opponent is playing a 3 at the back, right? You have 3 players at the back. If you have 4 players on stay forward, that means when you get the ball back, you're going to have a numerical advantage up against your opponent. That's the first and very simple one that many of you guys are aware of. Very, very simple to do, and you have 4 players when you get the ball. You can also have the 5th player from midfield that joins in, because your opponent will have 2 CDMs. Another way you can do is you have both of them on the get forward. That way you have a complete counter-attack situation. You're going to have 4 at the back, so think of them as a defensive 4. As soon as you win the ball back, don't forget you're going to be defending in a bank of 4 and 2 midfielders, because the rest of the 4 players are going to be on stay forward. So when you do win the ball back, all your kind of 6 players will go up against your opponent's 3 centre backs and 2 CDMs. So you do have that advantage as well. To do this is very, very simple. You just have to do your tactics. And what I recommend is sit a bit deeper. Sit a bit deeper, kind of soak up the pressure. And that's because you only have 2 centre mids. So reduce the depth and the width, I would say, below 40. The key is fast build-up play and forward run. So the idea is, you need to even on maximum if you want to. Idea is as soon as you get the ball back, because your opponent's going to be defending. So imagine your opponent's in yellow. He's got a situation like that with his back line, and his attacking line is going to be here. So you're just going to sit with your CDMs, not press, wait for the ball to come towards you, and then you're going to bounce and pounce going forward. Another thing you can do as well, if you really, really struggle defensively, is use drop between defenders. Now, this means that when you're attacking, and normally, of course, the CDM would play in this role. If I just move DL over there. The reason why I say drop between defenders is that what you can do is when you're attacking, a lot of people, they lose the ball in transition from defense to attack. So that way you create momentarily a back 5 and you have an attacking 5 as well. So although it could be 2 very much extremes, at least you've got a back 5, so you do got a safety net if you do lose the ball when you are going forward. Don't forget, drop between defenders is only when you have possession of the ball, then your CDM basically drops in between, and that's only when you're attacking. That's the first one, pretty self-explanatory, and that is, of course, the 4-4-2. You could also use the 4-4-2 second variation, the 4-2-4, or you can use the 4-4-2 flat. I would recommend don't use a 4-4-1-1 because you want the 2 strikers together. But you can use the 4-2-3-1. I just think it works a bit better. What I actually recommend doing is reduce the width to 1. The exact same tactics, but reduce the width to 1. And the reason for this is the team is still going to be very wide, okay? But what we want to do is the Lamb and Ram, they play a bit more closer than left mids and right mids. Very, very similar. And they're more attacking than left mids and right mids. So your opponent's got a 3 at the back, basically. We want to emulate the same thing, except we want these guys to be a bit more closer. Don't forget, they're not going to be like a 4-1-2-on-2 narrow. They're just still going to be a 4-2-3-1, but just a tiny bit more wider. Don't forget, the one extreme, especially in formations, it doesn't really work like that. The way width works, it takes into account the formation, then reduces it and increases it depending on what the original formation was. So this is the same thing, and put everyone on stay forward. Now you can't put anyone you can't really put anyone on getting behind part of the striker, but you can do that. Now the reason why this one's actually a bit more effective is you can actually do a 1-2 between these 2 players, because your opponent's back 3 will be like this. So basically you're going to match them up 3 versus 3. And then your cam's going to be behind your striker. Now, a lot of people when they have the 4-4-2, they struggle because they've got 4 players very, very wide and they've got no one in the middle and they get isolated. So the benefit of that cam being on stay forward as well is that he's just behind the striker. So if you pass the ball to the striker and you can't go forward, instead of passing it down the wing, you can do a 1-2 backwards, or you can play it in the triangles in between them. So that guy basically, so if your opponent's got CDMs, it will just sit just in front of those CDMs, or when you get the ball back, just in front of it, just like a tiny bit. Don't forget, it depends on how far your opponent's CDMs are. But the benefit of that is you can distribute the ball driven pass straight to that player, and then you've got the 3 vs 3, including the ball carrier. And of course, if you add him into the play, you got a 4v2. That's another option as well. So you can use a 4-4-2, or you can use that one. Another one is a bit more of a defensive variation, is you can use the 4-3-2-1. Now, this one works very well. It's because if you put all these players on stay forward, or get forward, should I say, they're not on stay forward. So what this means is, when you are defending, they're just going to defend in the 3. So if you're really struggling and let's say you're not 100% sure with defending, you're saying to me, look, Neil, look, okay, I understand what you're saying, but you know what, for me, I think having 2 players in midfield is just a bit too low. Then what you can do is simply just do this. It's the exact same thing. 3 players, very, very centrally matching up against your opponent's 3. Then you got a midfield 3. So you defend in a 4-3-3. 3 strikers on stay forward, and then you just basically, when you get the ball, all these guys, they get forward. Simple. They all just get forward. That's why you ideally want fast build-up play or long ball. And the idea is they just make runs going forward. Don't forget, they're not on stay forward. Unlike the strikers, they're all on stay forward. They're on get forward. So when you win the ball back and you get the ball, they're going to be making runs going forward. So the key thing is quick counter attack. You can leave one guy if you want to on stay back while attacking, if you really want for a bit more stability. The 3 guys, you create a 6 vs 5 situation. Also gives you that numerical advantage. Of course, you can also match the 3-5-2 with 3-5-2. That's also a good solution. Or you can consider the 5-2-1-2, especially because of how far the left back and right back are, hug the sidelines. I got a video on that on my channel. I'm sure you guys have seen that. But if you haven't seen it, go check out the video on the 5-2-1-2. But when you're attacking in the normal phase, 5-2-1-2, it does counter the 3-5-2 very, very well. And then the final one I want to go over is it's a version that probably didn't think of, is the 4-5-1. And the reason why is these players are extremely wide. Don't forget, in FIFA, generally speaking, lambs and left attacking mids and right attacking mids. So for example, these guys, although it says they're attacking mids, they're actually right attacking mids, and this guy is a left attacking mid, or left center attacking mid. If you ever see left center attacking mid, or right attacking mid, or right center attacking mid, it means they're playing on the left and to the right. They're basically wingers. So what happens is when you leave, for example, this player on stay forward, this player on stay forward, this player on stay forward, this player, now this way it's the best formation to counter. And the reason why is one guy sits deep and you have a guaranteed 5 players on stay forward. You see that? Stay forward, stay forward, stay forward, stay forward. So you're defending with just one guy at the back, okay? One center mid and the back line of force. Of course, it's inherently risky to do that, but the benefit is you have 5 players. Now, what's even more better is if, for example, you put, I'll put stay central on this guy. And what you do is you put, get into the box for cross, then you put, get in behind like that. And what I recommend is putting these guys on stay wide. So these guys as wide as possible. And then having these guys and get in behind as well. So get into the box. And that way, when you're attacking, these guys are extremely wide and this guy is central. So if your opponent's got a back 3, you'll have basically a man for man, and then the 2 guys in the center kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, where they're basically playing in between those lines. Or your opponent could be playing a narrow 3 and it could be matching up like this instead to these players, and therefore your wingers will be free. So these guys will be free to make runs going forward as well. So that works very, very well as well. Now, what I would say as well, you can try. I've not 100% tried it, so this one is one of the first ones I have to say. I've just thought about it before the video started and I haven't tried it, so I can't give you the guarantee for that. Is to put these guys on free roam. I was just actually thinking about it. If you put these guys on free roam, now you don't want to put them on drift wide because then you're going to have the 2 left attacking mids and left mids together. Put them on free roam and decrease the width to 1 again. And the reason for this is the left mid and right mid are very, very wide. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to create a lot of confusion because your opponent's not going to know, but he's got a left mid, right mid, and then you got these guys in the middle. Your opponent's back three. Whose opponent's going to mark? We don't know. And that's why you keep your strike on stay central. So that's actually a really good alternative strategy as well to counter the 3-5-2. All in all, these work very, very well. I would say if you are looking for the counter attack, the 4-5-1 is definitely the option. Fast build-up play and forward runs for most of them. I would recommend long ball if you find fast build-up play a bit too quick. Make sure you use forward runs. It's very, very important. And let's say you're talking about a standard from like you want to match it in game. I always say just match it with a 3-5-2 or a 5-2-1-2. This formation is, I think, a 3-5-2 killer when you're attacking. It's because when you're attacking, these guys are so wide. And a lot of people are not going to realize this, right? But they're so wide. If people hug the sidelines on them, when you're attacking in a 3-5-2, the issue is that everyone plays like this. And for those that watch my videos, you'll know you can have 3 players instead of mid to make it even more cracked. But everyone plays a narrow block like this, 5 and 2 CDM, which makes it very, very defensive. The left back and right back, they're basically all the way down the wing. So you can use them to get the ball to them and then make a driven pass inside the box. You have, for example, your cam and your left center mid, right center mid on get inside the box as well. So it can make it very, very effective because you end up having like a 5 versus 5, a man for man inside the box. So that's something else I would suggest as well. But make sure you do see my video in terms of that. But anyway, that is the quick counters for the 3-5-2. All those have been tested apart from that 4-5-1 with free roam that I just thought about just before the video started. I was actually kind of preparing for the video. So do let me know if you do try that. Let me know if that plays. It will depend on your play style. For example, the 4-5-1, I don't personally like it just because you guys know me. I don't like crossing the ball. And don't forget, make sure it's not this 4-5-1. It's this one over here. Don't forget. I don't like crossing the balls. Although the wing counter attack is there initially, I don't like having just one strike in the end. But a lot of people love the wing play. And they'll prefer to have, for example, the wings completely open. So I would probably still go towards a 4-3-2-1, a 5-2-1-2 match, or 4 strike on stay forward with a center mid joint attack. It will just depend on personal preference. But I would suggest trying all of them and seeing what works for you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Of course, I'll catch you next time. Peace out, guys.